You know, when you think about a company like Uber, you think about the app, the cars, the food delivery. But underneath all of that, there's this invisible engine, a massive AI factory running the whole show. Today, we're going to get an inside look at the blueprint for that factory.
I mean, think about it. Every single time you open that Uber app, you're interacting with this AI. That ETA that's surprisingly accurate, or the food recommendations that just, get you, that's all happening because of a constant, massive stream of AI predictions. And when I say constant, I am not kidding. At its peak, we're talking about Uber's systems churning out 10 million real-time predictions every single second. The scale is just, it's hard to even wrap your head around.
So how do they pull this off? Well, the system that orchestrates this entire AI symphony has a pretty epic name, Michelangelo. And its story, its evolution, is basically a masterclass in how you build and scale AI infrastructure for the long haul.
So we're going to break this whole journey down into 3 big phases. First, you've got the foundational era, where they just tried to build the core platform. Then came the deep learning shift, when everything got way more complex. And now, we're in the GenAI frontier, all about integrating these massive language models.
All right, let's start at the very beginning. Back around 2015, Uber was just growing like crazy. But behind the scenes, their machine learning world was, well, it was pure chaos. They had to get it under control, and they had to do it fast.
It was literally the Wild West. You had data scientists using whatever tools they wanted. Engineers were just building these custom, one-off systems for every single new model. There was no repeatable process, no single path to get an idea into the real world. It was a mess, and there was no way they could scale like that. So the solution was clear. They needed one single, centralized platform. And that's how Michelangelo 1.0 was born. The whole idea was to create an ML as a service system that standardized everything, hid all the messy infrastructure stuff, and gave everyone a clear runway. And maybe the most important innovation here was something called the feature store. So what on earth is a feature store? Well, think of it like a central library for all the little data signals, or features, that the AI models use to make predictions. The key thing is it makes sure that the data a model trains on looks exactly like the data it's going to see in the real world. That consistency is absolutely crucial for accuracy.
Uber's version, called Palette, was pretty clever. It used this classic 2-path system. For training models, it would crunch huge batches of historical data and store it in HDFS. But for those real-time predictions, it used streaming systems to calculate features on the fly and serve them up from a super-fast Cassandra database. It created this single source of truth for features that everyone in the company could use. And the impact? It was massive. Today, Palette has over 20,000 curated features. So now a new team can just come in, plug into this huge library of ready-to-go features, and hit the ground running. It's a total game changer for speed. Okay, so let's jump to the next phase. By 2019, they'd tamed the chaos. But the world of AI doesn't stand still, right? The simple models that worked before were getting replaced by something much, much bigger: deep learning. And Michelangelo 1.0, well, it just wasn't built for this new reality. Deep learning models are absolute monsters when it comes to computation. The platform was also missing basic software engineering stuff, like version control or CI/CD pipelines for automating releases. The whole experience for developers was kind of clunky, and they just needed a major overhaul. And this table right here, this just says it all. I mean, look at these memory numbers. A 175 billion parameter model needs over 2,000 gigabytes of memory, and that's just for the basics. You can't run that on old infrastructure. No way. So they built Michelangelo 2.0. This time, the whole philosophy was different. Deep learning wasn't an afterthought. It was a first-class citizen. They brought in a system called Project Canvas to treat model development like actual code. They unified the user interface, and they fully embraced awesome open-source tools like PyTorch and Ray. And the difference was just, it was night and day. Before, everything was manual, stuck in little notebooks. With Project Canvas, it became a proper engineering discipline. You had version control, automated pipelines, and totally reproducible builds with Docker. This was them growing up, turning machine learning into real, serious engineering.
Which brings us to right now. So just when they finally mastered deep learning, a whole new tsunami hit the industry: generative AI and large language models. And this brought a completely new set of headaches. Yeah, LLMs are a totally different beast. The scale is just off the charts. They need brand new workflows for things like prompt engineering. You got massive security issues, like making sure you strip out personal info. And the demands they put on your network, it's like trying to drink from a fire hose. So what did Uber do? They adapted again. They built a central gateway to control access to all their LLMs. They expanded Michelangelo to handle what we now call LLOps, all the stuff you need to run these models in production. And yeah, they spent a ton of money on hardware, upgrading to the best of the best NVIDIA H100 GPUs and beefing up their entire network. And don't ever, ever sleep on the importance of that foundational stuff. This one quote just nails it. By just improving their network, they nearly doubled how fast they could train their LLMs. Sometimes it's the unglamorous plumbing that gives you the biggest wins.
So after this incredible journey, almost a decade of building, breaking, and rebuilding one of the world's most advanced AI platforms, what are the big lessons here? What can we all take away from this? Okay, first, having a centralized platform is a total efficiency multiplier. It's a game changer. Second, you have to design it to be modular so you can just plug in the next new shiny thing without rewriting everything. Third, not all projects are created equal. Use a tiering system to put your resources where they really matter. And finally, and I love this one, don't get blinded by the hype. Uber found a ton of cases where a simpler, older model like XGBoost actually beat a complex deep learning model on both cost and performance. So that brings us to the final question, the one you should be asking yourself. The world of AI is changing faster than ever. Is your infrastructure built to evolve with it, or is it going to be the anchor that holds you back? It's something every architect and every leader needs to be thinking about right now.
Hey, if you're into these kinds of deep dives into tech strategy for your career or your business, do me a favor and hit that subscribe button. And if you want to be part of the core community, join the Inner Loop by getting on the email list over at aaronwoobuilds.com. Let's level up our businesses and our careers together from an architect's perspective. Thanks for watching.